Animation season finale, potential series animated finale. We do not know. Episode 12, season 2 of 100 Girlfriends. The Carne Tsundere Lost arc has begun and hopefully will end here. Likely. I mean, let's be real. Let's be real. It's definitely going to end here. But very necessary that we do end it here because best version of best girl needs to come back. So we have to do what we can to be able to return her to her senses and bring her back. I wonder if the entire episode is going to be focused around this or if it's going to be like a half episode thing. So like half a chapter still remains. And then like the other half is like proper wrap up type of stuff, or if we're just going to end it off closed like towards the end of the episode and we're going to focus on it for the entirety of it. Regardless, I just hope that we get her back. So I don't really have any much more to say. If you like it all, though, hit the like and subscribe. But feel free to stick around for the discussion. After the discussion, I'll talk about my overall feelings on things I liked, didn't, and all the in-between on the season itself as a whole. Leave any comments about this episode, this series. Let's get going with the season 2 finale of 100 Girlfriends. However, there's a reason that we can't go back. What do we gotta do? Why are you putting your hands up like that? What are you about to do with those hands? I mean, look at his pose. Right. We did establish those. How do you channel them into somebody? Do they just go to like an orb in the sky and they all connect? And we just send all of that. She's at like 10%. Okay.
そうしてカラネ様がツンデレになる薬を飲めばツンデレ因子を吸収してツンデレ因子 100% 含有のカラネさんに
Sounds like it's mathin'. Alright.
そこで一つ問題があるのだ
Which would be? Oh. Yeah, that would be an issue. Nah, Kuster's got a plan for that for sure. Yeah, because you're just capable of that. Alright, I believe it. What's up with the outfits? He's just the... Okay. Will she lose some of herself? Okay, the boss says so. Not making us all sound tropey. Let's... You understand the way that you were written? Yeah. Well, entire soul seems like it's coming out of her. Yeah, why? Don't look at us stupid. There you go. Well done. Well done. It doesn't hit the same. Natural. Unnatural. Yeah. Honestly, not bad. Not bad. Well done. Well done. Alright.
叩きます。
別に
Eh.
私は美しくなんかあるんですわからね。
はい。
別にあなたと過ごす時間に意義なんかない。
Okay, let's.
デレが不在。
ごめんなさい。もっとツンデレという概念を取り込んで。別にあんたのことなんか好きじゃないんだからね。
I think she was carrying this all in one. Bro had someone as hell. Ah, you're starting to see how she feels. Yes, this is her. The weight of her being. Yes. And that's why she's best girl. How much it meant for her to overcome that. Your love alone will power through. Look how easy it is now for her. That's why he's the GOAT. She got shot. If she really wants it, it'll happen. Cheer her on. So extra. Did it work? Did it work? Incoming different personality. We're so back. We're home. She would never say that. Alright, what do you got for us? Just a little. I also have a newfound respect for her a little bit, especially Rentaro, being able to see what she's been carrying, you know? Share your stories on how you came into the group. She's aware. Right. Yeah, why do you know this? I was gonna say, when do they watch the episodes? Like right after, like when we do? I mean, yeah, it's been like 2 years if we're being honest. Right. I figure we convey that without actually utilizing words. It's like an aura that they sense off of you. So the difference
伝わっているという過信によるすれ違いで恋人関係は壊れるという
Oh, so we gotta be better. Where is he in all of this, by the way?
先生の手伝いしてた。一人で段ボール1万個運ぼうとするなんて無茶。
Why did he have 10,000 boxes? Just to give you time for this conversation? There you go. Well done taking the initiative.
薬が大好きな薬開発の話ずーっとちゃんと聞いててくれたりとかな。なんかミスってできた効果よくわかんない薬代わりに飲んでくれたりとか。セルフモルモット今すぐやめて。
You might get superpowers though if you keep doing it.
ビート刻んでない
You don't say it enough. This is the reaction you get. Maybe this is why they stop saying.
複数同時高速頭なでただのギャグ表現だよ。
実はみんなの頭のフォルムを再現した自作マネ毎晩練習してるんだ。
こいつの彼氏力なめてた。
So he's so quick.
太郎のことが私も大好き。
試合が終わった今でも野球部の練習に付き合ってくれたりして。
健全な活動なのよね。
You'd hope.
お前んとこの娘じゃないんだから。
レンタロウは本当にすごい彼氏だよ。いつも幸せをありがとう。僕もレンタロウのことが大好きだよ。
膝に乗せてくれたり肩に乗せてくれたり。
Jesus.
マスコットじゃねえんだぞ。その扱いに疑問はないの？
She likes
あ
it.
なたは本当に優しくて温かい人で、そんな大好きなレンタロウくんと出会えた。
Hey, I'm happy for him that he's getting this. He deserves it, you know? He does more than any man's ever been capable of before.
抱きしめてくれたり、毎日胸をもみくちゃにしてくれたりするのが大好きなんです。
何やってんだよ。
ごめんなさい、夢の中の話も出ちゃいました。ごめんね。嫌わないで。夢の中。
大丈夫。
It
二
was
人とも悪くない。
just a
原
dream.
作者とアニメスタッフの頭だけ。
Calling themselves out. That's fucking crazy.
彼女でいられて、私は世界一幸せです。大好きです。レンタロウくん。
なでなでしても嫌がらないし。
そりゃこんなの嫌なわけ。
カラネちゃんなんか殴りかかってきたのよ。ちょっとなめなめしようとしただけなのに。
次は命がけで来いよ。
本当に生まれてきてくれてありがとう。レンタロウちゃん大好きよ。あらあら。
Like he had control over it.
レンタロウ様は以前は人から何かしていただくことに申し訳なさしかなかったのですが、レンタロウ様からしていただけることには胸のあたりがポッと温かくなるんです。
Nice. Good for you.
温度差なんなの？
その美しき心、私基準でまさに SSSSSSSSSS ランクですわ。
さすがに
Invented a whole new tier for him.
大好きですわ、レンタロウくん。誰よりも美しいあなたの心根にふさわしくあるよう、私ももっともっと美しさを磨きます。
I like that.
レンタロウくん。
めめちゃん。めめちゃん。
Still struggling.
ごめんなしを見つけてくれて嬉しかったです。また消えちゃうかもしれませんけど、レンタロウくんが大好きな気持ちは消えません。
Maybe one day, brother.
ごめん、カラネ先輩。
I can't be with you on this one.
私はさ、美味しいもの食べさせてくれたり、美味しいお店探してくれたり、コンビニの期間限定スイーツ
Forcing her into having to say it.
も何より、こんな私のこと好きとか言ってくれるレンタロウ先輩のことが大好きだよ。くるみ、ちょっとあんた。ごめん。でも
What about the plan?
先輩のこと好きって。
お客の口より
From a you that wasn't you.
出れてましたからね。
大
I let my inner thoughts slip out. No.
カラネの気持ちはちゃんと。
そういうとこ。あんたのそういうとことかもう全部好き。
レンタロウの全部が大好き。ずるいですよ。全部とか安直で一番喜ぶ。
Right, you sent him to the fucking moon.
本当にありがとう。本当に俺こんないいのかな。幸せで。
I mean, you do more for all of them than most people do for a single individual, so probably, yeah.
俺の方こそみんなの頭のてっぺんから足の爪の先まで大好きだし、薬先輩の元気いっぱいで天真爛漫なところも大好きですし。
Oh, alright, now he's just gonna ramble. Alright. You do you, bro. Yeah, here's it all. We're just... If you want to read it, go for it. but I think you get the point. I wonder at this point if he's actually still saying it or if they're just looping the initial parts that he did but speeding it so it sounds like it, you know? I mean, either way really works. It doesn't take anything from it, but just I can't even understand.
全部が大好きだよ。
君のことが大好きな100人の彼女まで。あと89人。
And with this, the season comes to a close. And what's a very simple episode to kind of sum up, with first half being get Karane back and being a pretty simple solution, while the second half being let's just talk about how much we love Rentaro and let him reciprocate it and tell us what he loves about us. It's nice to see, you know, just, but we're aware of it already, you know what I mean? So it comes off more of like, it's better for the characters to kind of be aware of and go through this than it is for the viewers to full on be able to get it. I would say. I think it falls in the similar enough line of where some of the other scenes like throughout the season that I've talked about fall, where sometimes it's like you have to do something to give this showcase to every character. Like the scenes where like they have to lose a game or win a game or like whatever, and then we have to go through like the cycle so every girl can get her kiss and everything can be fair and we can consistently go through that, right? And then they've kind of switched it up. Sometimes they did like duo based things and they did things to like speed through it a little bit. It's once again one of those scenarios where every girl needs her moment to be able to say something, and even on the reverse, he needs to be able to express it directly to each of them. So we have to give them the entirety of the episode, which aren't particularly my favorite things, solely just because it's like it takes up a lot of time for, I don't know, just something I don't often feel is like entirely necessary and doesn't do anything for me personally, right? Like the jokes when we did it before and it's like somebody's trying to win or lose a game or whatever it is to be able to get a kiss as like a reward from him. It more so doesn't like, it doesn't do anything to see them get that from him. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel the type of way when I see my favorite girl up there win it. Like it's more of the in between and the comedy and stuff that I grab onto a lot more here, that I like, that I don't think was as maybe strong, of course, throughout that back half, but it's always nice to be able to get that from each of them, I guess, to be able to fully express the things, even if we are aware of it. The intro of getting Karane back, though, was extremely simplistic, a lot more than I thought it was going to be. I thought we were going to have to pull out like some insane thing, which we kind of did, to be fair. Like it definitely was, but it wasn't like this like huge climactic like thriller like of what we were getting. It was more of like, this is the simple solution of what we do. Here's a fun side of each of the characters, and then let's use this kind of thing as like a visible display for the weight that she's essentially felt, at least that she carries, and be able to give that back, to be able to bring her back. And it was fun. Definitely overall enjoyed that. There's really not a lot like individually for me to say, I think, about the episode in itself. So this part should probably be particularly quick. I like the general idea, though. Split it between everyone and be able to do this. I think this and the Dragon Ball stuff is really fun overall, and some nice, fun little jokes, of course, mixed into it along the way. So we get our different takes on all the girls attempting to act and be tsundere, of course, to be able to emit this from them in a way. So it's fun to get that. Some of them are better than others, you know, like Rumi's good at it because she's basically she's like halfway there already, you know. Some of the other girls aren't too good at them. It just suits some of their personality. Some of them it doesn't. So It's fun though being able to see them each at least take their different takes. I like Nano's as well. Shit, hers was really funny to me. And then being able to put this as a visible display for him and physical, I guess, for him to carry in a way, to understand exactly what she's gone through and what she's felt like this weight on her shoulders has actually been this entire time. And now it allows him, and I guess even the other girls, to fully kind of understand her a lot more. And that's what the previous episode did so well, was being able to set up a lot of those interior thoughts that weren't ever realistically going to get out, just due to her nature as a person. So being able to express that in a way allows us to get a bit more of a peek into her mind, a bit more behind the guard that she essentially puts up. And I think that's really fun. And once again, we get to see that here, where you get to understand like the actual like physical mass and like significance to what she has to carry here, which is crazy. I love how 10% it was even a lot for all of them to have taken out, and she'd just be carrying this at full 100 the entire time, for everybody to be cheering her on and rooting for this to work, and ultimately it does. And best version of Best Girl is full on back. And now let's just praise him. So that's basically this entire half of it. We have some fun jokes, of course, poking fun at the author, the director, the way that we have to cut things within the anime, or just the way things are like kind of formed and everything within the manga and stuff. It's fun. They do a good job always with those ones. And then just a bunch of praise of things that we're kind of already aware of for the most part, but the girls get to verbalize it here. And then all the girls having to give him specifics of what they really love, and making sure that they tell him this, as recognizing the fact that we probably haven't been telling him that, and we should definitely be better, which isn't something I really noticed, because they do like go so over the top with a lot of the stuff that you feel like it just gets the point across, but not being able to actually like say it. It's nice to hear it every once in a while, you know? So I do like that they did take that step up and were able to explain this. And we get to see like slight different scenes of like different moments and stuff that happen that we never really got to see on screen or anything. And overall fun, the things that he does for them, the things that they do for him, the things that they want to go out of their way and be better for, as ways to improve themselves, each of them all individually a little bit different here. And Karna, of course, it takes so much based on her personality. She's able to, and it takes a huge toll on him. It's gallons and gallons of tears kind of come out. Happy and joyful, though. And then this is really fun, of just him expressing it and them throwing it on screen as he speeds up with his with his voice and what he's saying. So you can go through and just fully read exactly what he says. I do wonder, like I said, if he is actually saying, like, if the voice actor is actually going through and saying all this stuff, or if they just had him like repeat, like, or just like say like one of the lines, or like for a little bit, and then they just chop that, and then they just kind of speed it up consistently throughout, and pitch it up, because at the same exact time it's going to give the same exact effect, and you're not going to be able to make out any of the stuff that he says. Or if they just had him say the entire thing, either way, it doesn't really affect anything, but very fun. And 89 more to go as we're able to boost ourselves up, and we're able to gain up to 11, which is fun. And that's it for the episode itself. Not too much to really say on that. It's fine. It's probably one of the weaker episodes of the season, but I do think that there were some fun highlight parts, and it does enough job at like being able to close everything up and wrap it up pretty nicely. It doesn't leave it like open where it's like, oh, who's going to come in now? And we're not like leaving you like intrigued in a way to like the first season kind of ended, which I think was more under the assumption that it was initially planned already that they were working on this to be likely the second core that ended up getting renamed and split as a way due to like production delays and stuff that resulted in the second season coming now. We probably don't have those plans in motion for a third season to come. I don't know how it does, if a third season will ever approach, but if it does, I'd be gladly willing to kind of come here and check it out. If not, I'm probably just going to wait for the manga to be fully completed, and then at some point I'd probably end up going in or giving it a fresh start from the beginning and just reading all the way through. I guess we can talk about this season itself, because I don't have too much to really say on the episode. Overall, fun, more of the same, right, of what we're able to get with the last season. I really enjoyed the last season. I thought it was hilarious, and it was great, and I like the overall depth that I felt like we were giving to some of the characters through their introductions, and not feeling as flat as you almost would expect them to be in this sort of environment, and they all do feel a little bit more fleshed out. This season, I think, like, on a whole, I would argue is just weaker in probably almost all aspects to, if my memory serves me kind of correct. And some of it, I'd have to go back and rewatch to give you a full on judgment here. But I do think so, that at least from the perspective of the girls that were introduced, I found almost all of them to be a little less interesting than what we got in the first season. I think that all of the little backstories and their reasonings and just like who they are as a person, almost all of them came out to be a little bit weaker. Their individual episodes and moments and stuff to bring them into the group. Like, for the most part, all of these things that made up what we did in the first season, while being repetitive because it's the formula that we're going to consistently follow here, I just don't think we're overall as strong. And I wonder strongly if it's solely due to the fact that, like, it's very hard to, like, at the beginning they can introduce each of these girls and then they stand out so much more because of there's only like 3 of them at the time, and then there's 4, and then there's 5, and it's like each time you're able to like really highlight this one person while not having too many background characters that you have to like make sure that you're giving screen time to and like writing something for. And now, because there's so much more that we have to introduce this season, it gets harder to keep those other ones as relevant while you're doing this. So trying to balance it in a way, you have to sacrifice something at the end of the day. And for me, I think it just came in, all the new girls got their overall stories to be kind of slashed a little bit, and it was a little less expansive. Like, the actual things that are supposed to make me either like feel bad or connect with them on like a certain level all felt a little weaker, just a little less layered, I think, than the previous ones kind of did. The individual episodes, some of them didn't even get like really full on kind of moments. Instead, we got other ones that were like big spectacles and like really fun things in regards to like the competition at the beginning, which was one of the stronger episodes in general, for getting Kurume involved, and then same exact thing with Iku for getting her baseball game and like all that other stuff, which, like, spoiler, because I'm going to talk about it a little bit later, is maybe the reason for why they're probably like my 2 favorites that got introduced within this season. I think just maybe it's because I feel like we've had those like stronger moments and more moments to be able to like really focus on them, that I don't think maybe was as present for like Mei or for Mei or for Mimi or like any of the girls really introduced here outside of that. So it's weird. But it's still not like bad. They still definitely nailed a lot of it, and each of them definitely had like a core theme or message or something that we were trying to get into that made it work. I think a lot of the jokes that were like fourth wall breaking kind of things were like really strong and a lot more than the previous season. Comedy stuff, I wouldn't argue it was like weaker or less funny or anything than the previous season, but I guess as a result of maybe some of the episodes maybe not being as strong in my opinion, as I remember like the first season having it be, it may have resulted in some of the jokes here or there being a little bit weaker too. But it's not like a significant downgrade in really any regard. I guess it's just more of like it just ended up becoming a little weaker as we had to shift focus and expand it, I guess, a little bit more. That stuff being said, though, it's still really excellent, and I still think that it's awesome how creative the author can get with a lot of different moments here. And we had a lot of peaks in singular episodes that came out of it. I thought Iko's like entire arc and her first 2 introduction episodes were really strong. The food eating episode or food contest was really, really strong too. Even the one where we just had to like get chased throughout the entirety of the city was one of the most like chaotic and unpredictable things that they did throughout this. So we had some real high like peaks that I think were made for possibly some of the stronger episodes in the series. But I do also agree or believe that some of the other episodes, whether they be certain character introductions or whether they just be like singular episodes like this last one here, that are just ranked probably amongst some of the weaker ones within the actual series up to this point for me. So it gives it like mixed bag while it's still like quality, because I don't think any of them were particularly bad. It's just still a little like the last season I felt was consistent episode after episode, whereas this one I just don't think it was. Like, it was very clear when an episode was really, really, really good, and then it was very clear when other ones just kind of were okay. Whereas I think last season it was like, this is either like great or really good, or just like the bar between each of them, like the levels were very thin, whereas this one it's like kind of massive gaps, I think, in between some of them, all being from like average or good to higher though, so it's still praise, I guess, coming amongst my part. But props to the author for still being able to pull that out and likely and hopefully being able to do it to introduce another 89 girlfriends in a way. I think that they're creative enough and they do enough to give nods to like some different references in series and stuff that were clear inspirations for either characters or scenarios and stuff that are being written here. And I like how we're not afraid to hide that, and we visibly showcase that with being able to make the characters like dress up and change costumes or like do whatever, or directly state that if that it were to be the case. Also, overall character design of still being able to come up with like unique enough things is great. So props to them and just the author and stuff for making that stuff kind of pop. Getting like the duo moments in episodes that we had were fun, and I enjoy that as just a general concept of being able to kind of tighten things up a little bit and not have to individually focus on each character as we're going through like different skits, and instead being able to give focus to two of them directly, whether it's a pair that we're familiar with or one that we're not. I think works nice to be able to give everybody those sort of moments and not have to pan to like 15 different girls at different times. So that works itself out nice as well. The animation overall was really just the same from what I at least remembered it, so nothing really to knock there. The OP songs, I remember enjoying the last one a lot, and this one maybe not necessarily as much, but I still think it's very thematically kind of fitting. It makes just a lot of sense. It works within the series, and the OP sequence being as fun and chaotic as usual, and same thing with the ED just being really cute and kind of just being overall a good vibe. Nothing to necessarily hate on, but maybe not praise overall on those parts either. Voice acting being really strong still throughout all. I think all the characters kind of give it their all and embody exactly what they're intending to and trying to, which makes me very happy. I love to be able to see that. Some shows, I think like some of the characters really stand strongly above the others, and I don't necessarily know if I feel that way on this one directly from a voice acting standpoint. I think it more comes from just either character writing or character type suiting what a certain person is kind of into, as opposed to like a certain performance being way stronger than the other to make that character seem a little stronger than they actually are. And I think everybody kind of does their job and sells me on exactly what I think is being written, which is very nice to see. But yeah, overall, I think some really highs and some okays. Ends up just being a little weaker, in my opinion, than the previous season, but overall still a good and fun watch, so nothing to complain about. Now, last time, I know I did lists. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure I did two, but I don't remember what each of them were. So I'm not. I don't feel like going to look. So I'm just gonna do one list overall. Where if I was Rentro and I had, and you were like bullet to your head, you pick only one of them. You know, I'm just gonna keep going down the line of who I'd pick first, and then we're just gonna keep going in order, just so you can see where my bias stands. It's been very clear throughout, I think, on like certain girls that I like a lot more than others, but I think some of them, especially towards the middle of the pack, might start blurring the lines a little bit. So I would definitely like to at least just make this known. It's nice to be something I could go back and check. That's why I should probably go check the season one. Go check the season one actually. I'm not going to, but you go check it and see what my rankings were, and we can figure out if I changed up on any of the girls and like them more or less than what I previous did. Number one's easy. It's Karna. She's the best girl all around. From having, in my opinion, the best design out of all of the girls to having my favorite personality out of all of them and just being the overall funniest. I just think that she's fantastic to have. So I absolutely adore her. I think Nana is number two for me. I like her a lot. There's just something about her that is really appealing to me that I can't maybe necessarily put my finger on. I absolutely love her design. I think the like silver hair with the red eyes just works extremely well on top of her just being like very proper with a lot of the stuff that she does, and being very capable as a person is great. You know, she's got some personality kinks that you might have to work through or work out or just work with. But I think she's a great person and great addition to the cast that adds a lot of just kind of like dead humor in a way that's really awesome to have. Iku would probably be number three for me. Definitely number one amongst the season two girls for me personally. And she just kind of on top of having like the two strongest episodes to really set her up and involve her, she's just extremely fun. I'm into her as kind of just a person and just a character. But on top of her design being something that I'm really in love with, and I love just the purple eyes, I think are great as well. And she's just extremely energetic and kind of just down to do absolutely any and everything. And I really, really appreciate that out of her. She's a little too much at times. But to be fair, all of these girls are cranked up to 300 in each of their individual quirks. So like we can't really complain, I guess, necessarily about any of them. I think Karumi would be 4. I like her a lot. Her design's great. To be fair, all the girls are, so I'm just gonna keep saying I'm just gonna end up keep saying that. But having a little bit of that sundariness into her and being similar to Karne in some sort of ways, on top of like she just has her own little flair and charm to it. I think her little food jokes that she ends up like coming into are really fun. I do wish we get a lot more focus directly on her, but her as a person, from what we've seen, doesn't seem to be the most like unreasonable or difficult kind of human to work with in certain ways. So I definitely enjoy the little moments that we get out of her. Mimi would be next for me. I liked what we got out of her, but I just wanted more. That was always the issue. Was I think we set her up to be like a really upstanding person that I really admire. Her mindset on being able to strive to work harder to kind of like achieve something and wanting to solely do these things as a way to potentially be able to make friends and and everything else she was doing. I think it's great. But I do think I would have liked to just see maybe a little bit more out of her that we didn't necessarily get. May would probably follow after that. I don't necessarily love the inclusion overall. I think is May as a character, or maybe a lot of like things that have to go along with her. I think the general jokes of being able to have her eyes be opened and like see them as like a slight moment is really fun. But I do think a lot of the other stuff with her is pretty weak overall. But I do think in terms of like who I'd go after, like in each order as Rentaro, she would definitely fall next, with Hakare being a direct follow up to her. She's not particularly my favorite, the overly horned out version of person that she is. But at the same time, I think she does have her good charms in moments, even if she does get a little bit mentally corrupted at times. I mean, her efforts to be able to go back there and bring somebody like Karane back and do whatever she could towards the end to try and figure it out, while not being really on page with it and on the correct path here, she ended up still giving it her all, and I can definitely appreciate that. Shizuko would be next. I like her as a person. She's just a little too, quiet, not non-vocal enough to work for me. So it's just she unfortunately has to fall a little lower. Well, I guess have Hahari be next. She's fun, but at the same time, it's just too much for me. I can't handle all that. Let's be real. But at the same time, just the over like the weirdness with her and like towards her daughter and seeing her do things, or just like her over pervertedness, I guess, when it comes to a bunch of these other younger girls and everything. A lot of the jokes don't really land directly for me, but she is put together and has money, so I guess maybe she should have been higher on the list. But personality wise, I'm not necessarily the largest fan, I think, when it ends up coming to her. Maybe I would be next. She is somebody that would be, she's difficult to rank, right? So like if we have Kusari, who'd be last for me, just because like look at the form she's always in. I just can't do it. She's funny as fuck, but like I just can't do that. But at the same time, like if she's in her actual grown version, she's probably a lot higher, but she's never, so she has to be at the bottom. So Mei goes a little bit above that. I did state in the episode she's not the personality type I'm really into. I think she has a good enough design to like match with what we're going for with her vibe, but I don't particularly like it. You're literally never gonna be able to see her or talk to her or anything, and I'm not Rentaro. I'm not putting up with all of that. On top of, I just do wish we went into a lot more with her for me to understand her as a person, or some backstory and some other things. And I think that hers was probably the weakest overall introduction, which could coincide with exactly who she is as a person. So it's a little harder to maybe write that. But yeah, I would probably have to put her, and then small Kusari all the way at the bottom, but bigger Kusari would be significantly higher, probably middle of the road more so. So yeah, that would probably be my ranking. Leave yours down below. Would love to see exactly how you guys feel out of the 11 that we now have. If you were rent row and you were stood there and they were like, you can only pick one, who would you pick first? And then if that one was no longer there, who would be your next choice? And just continuously go down the line. I'm curious to see how differing, I guess, I am in a way to a variety of you guys. Fun stuff though. Overall, good season. Probably not as good in my opinion as the previous one, but it still does its job and it gives me some good old laughs, and you guys seem to enjoy it as well. So thumbs up for me, nothing to complain on. So thank you once again for joining this journey all the way through season 2. This will be the end of the road for now until a potential 3rd season, or until I just have to read a manga in a couple of years. But till that day comes, we will wait and see. If you guys liked it all, hit the like and subscribe. Don't feel free to check out the channel, leave a comment, this other series. I will be back for something else, and I hope to see you there. No more seasonals for this upcoming spring season. I'm done with them. We're trying something completely new. 3 different series that we're actively doing, 2 episodes a week. Hopefully they all get done pretty quick if we do that, and I should have good enough schedule that we're able to consistently be able to do that and get them done. So check them out if you want. If not, leave some recommendations for things that will follow those up. I have said my piece. I've been Grizz. This has been 100 Girlfriends Season 2. I hope to catch you in something else. You guys have a great one. Peace.